I'm going to go back here to Excel again, and the next problem, we have 6 children who are given a story under normal conditions, and then another 5 who were given the story and apparently their names substituted in. And the certainly probably an elementary ed researcher wants to see if there's any difference in the times. So what we got to do here is we got to set up a completely new our data set a different way. So what I'm going to have here is I'm going to have reading. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to call that time. And then I'm going to have group. So I'm going to type in 2, 6, 4, 8, 9, 4, 5, 17, 13, 7, and 9. Now my group is going to be normal, and I think that goes down to right here, and I'm just going to call this name substituted, so we should know what that means. Alright, so I'm going to do a save as, and I'm just going to call this prob2, and I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to save it as a .csv, and I am going to continue. Alright gang, so I'm going to go back into R, make this larger so you guys can see it, and I'm going to go data 2, and I'm going to attach it, and then I want to see the names of data 2. Alright, so what I want to do now is I just want to get again a look at what's going on here. So in terms of descriptives, so what I would probably want to do first of all, I'd like to look at a box plot of my time across group. And it appears that when the name is provided, that the amount of time is higher than for normal. Next thing I'd want to do is I'd want to look at the mean across time and gender. Okay, what's going on here? Why am I not... why did I say gender? All right, so you know, it appears the difference is significant. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at the standard deviation as well. So we'll report that here in just a second. What I want to do now is run my t-test. And what I'll do here is I'll run it time across group, paired equal false. And yeah, I like to just all right, I'm just doing this from memory, so obviously not well. All right, so when I look at this, my test statistic is 1.94, have degrees of freedom. No, we've done a Welch 2-sample t-test, so we're not assuming that we have equal variances. This is an unpooled t-test, and our p-value is above 0.05, so we fail to reject the null, as indicated by the confidence interval containing 0. So, guys, in this particular type of problem, we have a different null hypothesis, and in this one, our null is that the mean for normal equals the mean for name. And we are testing okay, and we're testing at 0.05. Now, you know, we don't have to calculate a mean difference here, so let's just go ahead and calculate the effect size. So, so what we're going to do is we're going to run a t-test, but this time we're doing an independent because we have different kids. And I want to run a post hoc achieve power. Two-tail, effect size. Notice that before I do anything, I can hover over that effect size box, and it's going to tell me the range from 0.2 to 0.50 to 0.80, I do believe. Yeah, so small, medium, large, and I'm just writing that down. All right. So, you know, we have two choices here to calculate our effect size, where we have equal sample sizes and unequal sample sizes. Well, guys, we have an unequal sample size, so the mean of the first group was 10.2. The mean of the second group is 5.5. All right, gang, to get the standard deviation within each group, let me go back over here. What we need to do here, since we, and I'm just going to call this within, since we did an unpooled t-test, the only thing we need to do here is just take the variance for the first group divided by the sample size plus the variance of the second group divided by the sample size. So, you know, we should be able to do this very easily. All right, so I'm going to go to the square root. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to just do this. So we have time across group, and I'm just going to go variance. All right, so what I want to do is I want to do the square root of 23.2 divided by, darn it, guys, I don't remember. Let's get our sample size there. All right, we are ready. All right, so I want 23.2 divided by 5 plus 7.1 divided by 6, and that should do it. All right, so we have 2.413 as our combined variance. All right, so I'm going to go 2.413, and I'm going to calculate the effect size, and I'm going to calculate it and transfer it to the main window. So guys, we have a very, very small effect size, so I'm expecting our power to be extremely small. Power, what did we have again? I think we had, losing my mind, guys, 6 and 5, 5 and 6, okay. So 5 and 6, and we have, actually we have a power of 0.81, which is extremely impressive. 0.816. So if there was a difference in the means, we've got enough power to detect that. All right, guys, to write up number 2, we say an independent samples t-test was conducted to examine difference in means across normal and name inserted. I really didn't know how to say that, but I guess if I was doing this in research, I would have been more formal, I guess, but maybe referring to it as an experimental control situation. But nevertheless, I put the mean, and this drives me crazy when people aren't consistent with their reporting to 2 places. So we say the difference in means was not significant, and right here we say that the t again says we're using t distribution. When we have a degrees of freedom that is a decimal, that almost always indicates that we have an unpooled t-test. Actually, it would always recommend, or I'm sorry, it would always indicate that we have an unpooled t-test. Now, I guess you could end up with a degrees of freedom that's an integer using unpooled, but usually if you have an integer here, it indicates a pooled t-test. And so I would probably back here and unpooled independent samples t-test. So I probably should have included that. So guys, the difference in means, come in and report. Notice that our test statistics 1.95, our p-value is 0.10. So indicating there's no difference in mean, and I should come in and call that reading time for normal and name inserted students. The confidence interval for the difference between version A and version B is 1.21 and 10.61. Effect size was small, but we had adequate power. All right, so that's how we would write this up. So we'll go on to question number 3 now.